out of all of the programs that I've ever invested in, this is probably the most powerful program I've ever been in.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sid Charisse.
And I'm David Bosher.
And you're listening to Destroy the Hairdresser,
where we teach you to salon differently. After years of searching, we finally found a software that does it all. Introducing Aura Salonware. With Aura, you have the simple tools to streamline your business, such as a card on file, settings for hourly pricing, and even station sharing options. Implement communication boundaries with clients by interacting directly through Aura. Finally, a software that takes your business as seriously as you do. If you're interested in this type of profit maximization, visit aurasalonware.com/DTH to receive special discounts and promos.
As a hairdresser, I know the struggle of managing your back bar, and that's where our friends at Salon Skill come to play. While you weigh your products with their app, Salon Skill automatically tracks your products used, making inventory management a breeze. Not to mention, they also save your formula. They are a digital solution for back bar management, and they really make it easy. You know we're both big on knowing your numbers, and Salon Skill does just that. Visit salonskill.com/DTH and use the code DTH10 at checkout for 10% off your first year.
We are killing it with our special guest this year. We have
the best we've ever had.
Been interviewing our coaches to give you an inside look of what it is like to work with these crazy people. And today we have one of my former
Blink twice
students.
if you need help. Right?
We have one of my former students, Patricia Nowakowski.
Yes.
Owner of Opulence Beauty.
Yeah, Opulent Beauty.
Opulent. I always say opulence. Here in Chicago, actually.
Yeah.
And you were a student of mine for how many years?
2.
Why do I feel like everyone...
On and off for 2 years.
Why do I feel like everyone was a student for like 25 years?
5. Like, they've all, you know.
So you were a student of mine for 2 years. What... You are someone who has learned... You have taken every course. Literally.
Seriously.
You have worked with every coach.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
You're like addicted to growth.
I am.
But what made you land on Destroy the Hairdresser and
love us.
And love us so much?
Well, I went to a class, and that was in Chicago,
yeah.
where I met you guys for the first time, and Kate Kent.
What was that? Barbara and Barbara.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And David literally handed me my ass on a platter. And I was like, oh, man, this guy is talking
class.
to me. Not really, but like...
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am the problem in my business. I need to work with these people.
I think it takes a certain type of personality to work with us because we do say with the truth a lot, and that can upset people. Did you have any moment where you were like, these people are crazy, I don't want to work with them?
You know, it was like one of those things where I went to this class and I was expecting it to be like all the other business classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I actually sat in the class, I was like, this is like nothing I've ever experienced or learned before. And after taking all the classes, I was like, okay, like this is something that I need to do. It's different. And it really like, I had a lot of aha moments very quickly.
You are different than some other coaches that have open salons with us. You already had a salon. I think you had a rental salon originally.
So I had a commission salon, and then I reactively switched it to rental because of my poor leadership, which I didn't know was
Why did you
my fault.
tell people why you switched it to rental? Because I think it's common.
So I just struggled with being a leader, and I struggled with retaining my team, and I just got frustrated and just gave up.
And rental, for people, I think they feel like they don't have to lead as much. Is that what?
I felt like it was just easier and that I didn't have to do the work, but it was exactly the same. Literally exactly the same, but with no revenue, real revenue.
I love that you share this because there's so many salon owners that have experienced what you've experienced, and then you've dug yourself out of it. And it's almost jarring when you say you're like, I was the problem, I was a bad leader. And I'm like, it always makes me feel like, I love that she's sharing this because it's true. Like, you can fuck up and then switch it.
Yeah, I was pretty much just running my whole business based on fear. Fear-based decisions all the way, which that doesn't really produce great results. So when I was actually introduced to reactivity, I was like, holy shit, like this is the problem. Like I'm making decisions based on being afraid of what I really need to do.
So just to clarify for people, you had a commission salon. Then you went to rental. Then you came to one of our classes. And then we switched your rental back to commission. What was it like switching again back to commission?
It was scary. It was really scary because I had that revenue coming in of just rent, and then the idea of having to start over, and then the fear of, creating the same habits with employees was very strong.
Yeah. And did your team stay with you?
They did.
Through all the transitions?
I have all the same team members.
And she thought she was a bad leader.
I know. No, the first round of girls.
We love you. Get it together so we can all make some money.
I know. Honestly, I have salon suites too. Some of those people moved over to the salon suites, but all the people that I had, they all ended up staying.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now you own pretty much all the buildings in there.
Yeah, I have a lot of
this
spaces.
This is my commission salon, and then I'm going to open.
You're just slowly taking
suites,
over.
Which
Palos Heights
is better than salon lofts, or you know what I mean? Like going into those suite areas where the rent is just astronomical.
I think me being a stylist and then having those suites is a different perspective. So I know what those people need and what they want. And we do have high rent, but they have a lot of space.
Yeah.
So our salon suites are like 500 square feet compared to like 100.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot.
It literally is a micro salon.
Yeah, that's my intention, is that people can start micro salons inside of the salon suites and hopefully open their own salons.
Amazing.
Love that. So now that you, as a student, you switched back to commission, you were learning all the DTH methods. I'm going to ask you what I ask everyone. What was the scariest part of what method or what was it in coaching that you were like, this is the scariest thing I've done in my business?
Hourly pricing.
I remember the day I made you.
Well, it's funny too. It's Patricia had a problem with her team where it's just like, okay. Like,
they didn't even care.
I will say, whenever you switch to hourly pricing, it's always hard for the salon owner.
Yeah.
Like, that's the hardest.
And the hair.
Then sometimes for the hairdressers, but never really for the clients that much. But I remember the day I was talking to Patricia, and this was the last method that we were like, we couldn't get her on board. It took a year or so.
It took a very long time. I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
And so what made you do it besides me being like, bitch, get out there and do it?
Literally, that's what you did. You said you need to go out onto the salon floor right now, and you're telling your team that you're switching to hourly pricing. And I was like, okay, David.
And she did.
Whatever you say.
But that's me pushing you in the direction that we would agreed. But what was it really that you were like, okay, I really am gonna do it?
Well, technically you could have been like, no.
Well, the thing is, everything that you have pushed me to do throughout coaching has always been successful. So I was like, you know what? He's not going to steer me wrong. Like, I knew that you were just in it, like as invested in my business as I was. So I just had to get over my fear. And my fear was losing my team and then having to start over again. And in reality, like, you gave me all the skills to be an amazing leader, which my team trusted me. So any changes I make in my business, because that trust is there, they just go with it.
And what was their response?
They were just like, okay. Literally.
And now they're making all this money. And
now they're happy.
How has hourly shifted because you also do a lot of extensions.
Yeah.
And I know that there's...
Not just do extensions. She's a powerhouse in the extension world.
If you haven't seen her extensions on her, which are gorgeous, but the work you do is amazing. Was there a fear, because I know that a lot of extension methods teach people to do a lot of different types of packaging and pricing. What was it like going to hourly with extensions?
I feel like a lot of people think that they should make more money, like doing extensions. And I knew that my team primarily wanted to focus on that. So I just told them to set their prices to what service they want to focus on. So if they wanted to focus on extensions, then charge what you want to charge for extensions, and then let all the other people come to you for other services if they want to pay the same hourly rate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it helped simplify and helped refine their books where they can really focus on the services that they wanted instead of trying to like take anything that would just fall into their laps.
Yeah, especially if there's other stylists that don't want to do that.
Right.
Did anyone on your team struggle with hourly? Like, was there a certain type of stylist that struggled with it?
No, I feel like everyone was so chill. I know, and it was the one thing that I was like so scared about, but they all trusted me and they're like, okay, kind of like how you wouldn't steer me wrong. Like, they knew that I would just do the best for them. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember too, because I wasn't your coach, but obviously I knew you through the program. And then I knew you from, we came to your salon on our second tour and taught at your salon, which was incredible. And so I got to know you a little bit more. And David just telling me all of your successes as a student. And then he messaged me one day and he was like, I don't know why, but I have this feeling that Patricia is going to be a coach. And I was like...
Which is funny because she never said anything yet.
She texted soon after that.
Oh, yeah. It was
Remember that? And you sent me the text
like a day
screenshot.
Later.
And I was like, stop. And your audition was like no one else. Like usually we go through an interview process. Patricia took one of our classes, reformed it, redid it in her own way, recorded it, and sent it. And it's still on the website.
Yeah.
It's on the dashboard now.
Yeah. It was
but that was your audition.
Oh, well.
That was your audition. You were like, literally like, I'm going to be a coach whether you like it or not.
It was amazing.
Here's what I could do. And I remember he showing me that and I was like, let's bring her on. That's what we need.
As a student, what made, like you did the class, but like what did you get out of the program that maybe you didn't expect to get?
Oh my God, the program was nothing like I expected. I think growth in consciousness and the growth that I experienced in my leadership was probably the most incredible part of the program. Knowing reactivity, making conscious decisions instead of fear-based decisions.
And what
I think completely changed my life.
Did it change how you looked at money?
Yeah. Oh my God, I had so much fear around money. And now it's just kind of like I have certainty that everything's going to work out and it does. I don't know. Can't explain it. Just magic.
I feel that energy. I'm like, everything's just working out.
When you went from student to coach, what was that transition like?
It was interesting. There was a lot of growth there too, because I had to figure out like what my process was going to be and just kind of like working out like the kinks because it was new. I've never coached before. But I've been through a lot of coaching and a lot of education. So there was a lot of growth there too. And I think the most powerful thing about coaching is when you're teaching people these concepts, the more you teach it, the more you understand it, and the more you grow yourself. Yeah. So there's so much like expansion in just coaching that I just never expected.
What's your favorite method to teach students?
Oh gosh, I like them all. I like removing the front desk. I think my favorite is retail. I hate retail. I've always hated retail. So like you giving me permission to like finally get rid of it, I was like, hell yes.
It's always surprising to me when I coach someone what is easy to them and what is hard.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, oh, I don't have to sell retail. Gone. It's gone the next day.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I thought that was going to take months.
Yeah.
For someone to
but having
digest.
Like conversations with their team is like
it's always surprising what methods are
you
crazy.
Actually created retail in a really cool way. Obviously, everything you talk about is affiliate links, but it's more than affiliate links too. It's just streamlining retail so that we're not losing money. And you have like a whole online store for Opulent, which is great. So you're like, I still want these. There isn't an affiliate link for it, but I'm going to make sure that there is one in a way.
Yeah, honestly, like it's just money sitting on the shelf. And when you sell something, you have to replace it. So your return on investment is very low.
Yeah.
And when you do affiliate links, then you just have to share the link and there's no overhead for the salon owner. So I don't know why people don't do that more.
People are
it just makes sense.
Affiliate links.
And now there's more room in my salon. Like we have an extra station.
Yeah.
And it just works out.
It's so clean. It's not cluttered.
What, as a coach, who are the people that you love to work with? Like, what's the student that you're always excited to work with?
I love working with salon owners who fight reactivity. And I love salon owners who are really struggling with leadership and helping them refine that because I find it really rewarding. And it completely changes their business.
I feel like we attract the students that are going through what we've already transformed. And that's my favorite because it's like you truly know on a painful level that you can help them, you know, because you've experienced it.
In the industry, when you opened your salon, what kind of led you down? Like, why did you want to open a salon? What led you to that?
I reactively opened my salon because I wanted to do it better.
Than your former employer?
Than my former employers. I was like, I can do it better. And then I just ended up doing the same exact things that they did.
That's what happens. It's like
know.
Your parents. You're like, I'll never be my mother. And then you're like,
exactly like them. Yeah.
What was the most, like, what were you trying to avoid that you ended up doing?
It was just like, gosh, there's so many things. Lack of freedom, lack
like
of
the tight hold.
Right.
Yeah.
Lack of artistic abilities. And I ended up just micromanaging my team and doing exactly the opposite of why I opened my space.
Yeah.
What fight? I just answered it. What reactive system were you?
Fight.
What reactive system is most of your team?
I would say flight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
Which is funny because fights usually push flights away. But if you're working on your proactive part of your reactive system, then it helps them draw to them, which is their correction too, like their transformation.
Yeah,
which is great.
They're very flighty.
How does that work for you as a leader, or someone who's more confrontational, someone who wants things done a certain way and is okay to speak their mind? What is it like leading a team of people that are more, or would rather run the opposite way?
I actually think it works out really well because I push them to really experience and just tackle their growth. Where, most people will just ignore it. Like, I'm like, no, we're not going to run away from this. Let's do what we need to do, and let's build your books or whatever they're working on. Each stylist is different.
When you opened your salon, what were you were working as a commission stylist?
I worked commission for 10 years, and then I rented a chair.
The same place for 10 years?
Yeah. I was at the same place for 10 years.
Wow. What was that like?
Did you get a watch?
No, I didn't.
That was a thing for a long time. Like, you get a watch after 10 years and something after 20.
I didn't get the watch.
What salons were you working at?
I just heard about it. I never stayed that long.
I think ours was like a bracelet or something. I don't know.
I feel like it was like some piece of jewelry.
Why did you stay there for 10 years?
Honestly, my salon owner, I'm going to try to tread lightly, but he was very manipulative, and he really made you feel like you would not be successful if you left the salon.
Yeah.
So he used a lot of fear-based tactics to keep the team.
We were just talking about that, the manipulation, and like from elder mentors that we had that were passed down through us.
I literally remember my last day, I was like dry heaving in the break room and like freaking out because he wanted me to work out my week. I was like the only person. He's like, no, you need to stay and finish your clients, because there was a group of us that left. And I was dry heaving in the back room. He told me, he's like, your career is going to die when you leave here. That's exactly what he said verbatim. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But it ended up working out. Look at me now.
Oh,
wow.
I felt that way when I left Big Beauty.
Honestly, I think...
Yeah, when I left the call, I was afraid that I was not going to be successful.
I think that gave me the drive, because I'm the type of person, tell me I can't do something and I'm going to show and prove you wrong. Yep. So by him saying that, I was like, yeah, just watch. And now I just laugh because...
That's horrible, though, to say something.
It was really terrible.
So then you went and rented a chair. Mm-hmm. And what was it like? Did you enjoy that experience?
I did, because I had complete control of my business and freedom.
Like human rights, yeah.
Yeah.
Human rights.
We didn't even have access to our clients. I had to like keep like a piece of paper and like get their emails and stuff before I left, like on the sly. So it was nice to be able to like work when I wanted to work and book my appointments the way I wanted to, because we were only given 30 minutes for everything, which is not enough time. God. Right. It was like total hustle culture. So when I moved to rental, it was great, but then that salon owner was a little wacky.
Oh, you rented a chair?
Yeah, she was different.
What was that experience like?
It was, again, pushed me to open my own place, so blessings,
Hashtag blessed from those experiences.
She was very passive-aggressive and would leave Post-it notes everywhere.
That is the thing, too.
Yeah.
That's a common salon owner thing.
Be like, say it to my fucking face.
Right.
That's what I say when I see the Post-it note.
Post-it.
Please clean up. They put the Post-it note by the mess.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite.
Whose is this?
We have partnered with Hair Story, a product line that is good for our clients, our planet, and our bank account. Have you heard of New Wash? It's like a shampoo, but actually good for your hair. New Wash is a cleansing cream that cleans and conditions without the harsh foams and damaging detergents found in traditional shampoos. Hair Story does things differently, creating more conscious options that respect the environment and your hair ecosystem. Ready to try New Wash for free? Visit hairstory.com/DTH to get pro access today.
So you rented a chair. and it pushed you again. But I think there's something that has to happen between I rent my own space and then I'm going to open a salon because they're very different undertakings.
Yeah, at the time I didn't realize that. I just thought it would be, a little bit different. But like renting a studio, and I have seen this through coaching my students, and opening a salon are two different things.
Yeah.
Renting a chair in a salon are so different.
And what made you want to do that switch though?
Again, I just wanted to create my own space and my own client experience, and I wanted more freedom.
And now that when you opened it, what was the reason of defaulting to your former boss's behaviors? Not all of them, obviously, but
I was so scared of finances. I was scared to fail. And I think that fear pushed me into certain behaviors that were just really toxic.
Sometimes when we're that scared, we just create what we're scared of because we can't see clearly.
And I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. So I just automatically went to that behavior because it was what I saw. So it was like, well, this must work because these people have salons and they've been open for years. So I might as well just do what they're doing.
Yeah.
that
is what happens in the industry.
It does.
So then you became addicted to education of like, you wanted to learn everything. And what do you think, what are the common threads with all the coaching that you've had? What are the things that work?
I think the things that work are really just focusing on your own personal growth and what works for you, and not necessarily focusing on what works for everybody else. That's what I liked about DTH was it was really geared towards my specific needs and my personal growth that I needed to achieve in order to get what I wanted out of life and my career. Whereas all the other programs that I worked with were just kind of like cookie cutter. Like everyone do the same thing, but not everyone's going to get the same results. So
exactly,
it doesn't work.
I remember, can I tell your story of when you called me from California?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to hear the story?
So she was at an event for more education, as she is all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted her to commit to thousands of dollars.
It was tens of thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
I remember this.
But you had to commit that minute.
Oh, it was totally pushed, yeah.
Like if you couldn't
couldn't think. Just swipe.
You couldn't get the same deal or something if you didn't.
They wouldn't even let you join. It's like you have to do it today. And if you don't do this, then you are going to fail at extensions.
Wow. Why everyone... And so she calls me from the bathroom. I'm her coach at this time. And she's calling me from the bathroom. I go, where? Well, first of all, she's crying. And then she tells me what's been going on. And I go, where are you? She goes, I'm in the bathroom stall. Like she's hiding. I laugh at it out. My heart was breaking that day because I was like,
You're like, leave.
My thought was like, get out of there. It's obviously dangerous. But I remember, I can't remember what I fully told you other than you've got to do it. I think it was like, you've got to, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, And we're not going to say what company that was. I'm pretty sure it's obvious. But why do you think the industry, especially the beauty industry, is like that with their education? Because it's not just that company that does that type of fear-mongering.
A lot of people run their business out of ego and manipulation and fear. Like they're so worried about like what everyone else is doing and the competition. And I think a lot of people, again, are running their lives on reactivity. So if you are using fear to get the result that you want, the people who are running their life on fear will buy into what you're selling.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should start doing that.
No.
I don't know.
Scare people enough with the truth.
Yeah, I know. I think people think we're doing that.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, no. I'm like, look.
People have no idea.
Working as an extension artist, the extension world is also very volatile.
It's horrible.
Why does it have to be that? Why is it like that? What started that?
I have no idea. Again, I feel like people are just trying to, like, they're just scared.
Better question, how are you changing it?
Well, me and Christy just did a podcast together. She's another coach.
Patricia has her own podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
The Elevate Podcast. Yes. Yeah. There's just enough to go around. Like, I think people just live in scarcity and they don't think that there's enough students or there's enough money. And in reality, like, the beauty industry is really large. Like,
it's a
there's so many possibilities.
Multi-billion dollar,
Exactly.
like $500 billion company or industry.
Right. And I think extension artists and these companies think that what they're doing is exclusive, and it's not. It's not exclusive. Like there's so
like
many
sewing.
different, right. Like you're not different. Like your company is the same as everyone else's.
What would you tell people that are about to embark on the extension journey? What to avoid?
I would say avoid companies that are bashing to gain students, like bashing other artists or bashing other companies. And if they force you into any sort of contract, run.
You have
Because why do you need a contract? If your class is so great, why do you need to trap people?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we get DMs all the time of people that are like, I just signed this contract with this
company,
this education company, or specifically a lot of extension companies. And by the way, when we're not talking about one, when we say companies, we really mean
many
companies.
Yeah.
Because I think people
and even
think
outside of the like extension world, there's education companies that are doing this as well.
I think people, when you and I talk about like the truth about some of these things, it's funny who people think we're talking about.
Because it's them.
Because they think it's them.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not.
It's not about you.
We're actually not talking about you.
But because they're doing the actions.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Avoid contracts. Avoid that. What about large financial commitments?
I think there have been many. I mean, I can't even tell you how much I've spent on education. I mean, it's probably like 100,000, maybe more. Like I'm crazy.
A year. That's
right.
what she said.
Well, not a year, but like over the
time.
last few years. Just make sure it's worth it. Like if it is a high dollar amount, then do your research and make sure that they're actually like producing the results that they say they are.
Yeah.
We're like, go talk to our students. Like because we've had people be like, I'm scared to make the investment. Like talk to some students.
I think DTH is one of the cheapest investments out there.
It really is. And with the most impact. It's
Patricia gets mad all the time. She's like,
for real.
Patricia thinks we're undercharging.
I just said it to you yesterday. I'm like, you need to charge more.
So if someone is listening and they're on the fence about DTH or they don't know if they should jump in, what would you tell them?
I would say that Destroy the Hairdresser changed my life. Like out of all of the programs that I've ever invested in, this is probably the most powerful program I've ever been in. And it's a lot of work and it's hard. It's really hard.
Pay her to say that.
It is really hard.
It is though. I mean,
we're doing the work with you guys.
Right.
And like with our coaches, we're still doing the work and it's not easy, but it's so
worth it. And it's facing yourself because really you are just bringing attention to all the things that you really need to transform to be your best self.
Yeah.
And that's hard for people to do. I mean, it was hard for me to look at a lot of things and be like, damn it.
Shit.
I am the problem.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
You've been very honest about, I think it's hard to be honest about bad leadership.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's one of my favorite things she talks about.
Yeah, like
horrible leader.
But then on the flip side, you also hear that all the changes she made, everyone stayed.
Yeah.
Or most people stayed.
I think I expanded my leadership over time. And if I had that same
whole journey, I think people go into salon ownership thinking they're going to be perfect. It's like,
it has nothing to do with the hair or the space. It has to do with who you are as a person and as a leader. That's going to make you successful.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
And when people work with you, what can they expect?
I'm very blunt and to the point. And sometimes people are taken aback by that. But, honestly, it's just like, why sugarcoat things?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to help you grow.
We don't got time.
Don't got time for that.
You're now running our salon economics department.
I know.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I'm so excited. I feel like a lot of salon owners are really afraid to look at the numbers, and numbers are just information. So when you actually look at the concrete facts of your business, then it gives you the knowledge and the steps you need to take to get the results that you want. But if you're just kind of ignoring it, then you're not going to create a different result for yourself.
We were just talking about that. You can put so much on a spreadsheet, but if you don't have the consciousness to grow, like what?
Right.
That spreadsheet means nothing.
And I think the consciousness is important because a lot of people will look at their numbers and it will make them feel negative instead of being like, okay, so these are the concrete facts. Like, how can I make changes to get where I want to be and turn that negative into something positive and proactive?
I think
it's incredible.
This department's going to be really
Popular
and impactful and terrifying
I know.
to a lot of people.
I'm a little
can't
terrified, but excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was so fun. I got to be on the podcast.
all of our coaches are pissed.
I know.
It's taken this long to get on the podcast. But now you get to be on video as well, which is so much better.
So much cooler.
Go follow Coach Patricia.
Mm-hmm.
Love her. Follow her. Listen to her.
Yeah.
You won't regret
Elevate
it.
Podcast.
Elevate Podcast.
Next time on Destroy the Hairdresser, the podcast.
If you look at time as money, you start to value yourself differently.